We are here with a very special guest, Garry. Welcome to the show. Pretty unfortunate result for you, but it seemed like you are having fun. Was that the case?
Yeah, maybe I'm having too much fun. I think there were very high expectations after my performance last year here. But last year I did some chess. I mean, this year when I arrived here, I just realized that I didn't play chess over the board for a year. And obviously, the latest events in Europe, the war in Ukraine, and just it's consumed all my energy and attention. But some games here just made me feel really good. Okay, of course, I wanted to do better. But looking at these 9 games, I would say in 6 games, at least in 6 games. So that's just I missed very good chances. So I was better against Aronian in the end game. Could be even much better. I was winning against Nakamura. I was at one point winning against Caruana. I had a very promising position against Aldereza. That's a game that actually made me really unhappy because, I sacrificed the exchange. Instead of playing slightly worse position, I went for complications. It was correct evaluation, and I knew that knight takes c7 was not the best move, intuitively. But I had no time, and I spent precious minutes, calculating. I saw rook should go on e3 or e4. I wasn't sure where, and computer proves that after rook e3, white was slightly better. Still probably a draw, but black had to be very, very accurate. So knight c7. Then we reached this position. I said, okay, it's a draw, and I managed. I just look at how on earth I could lose the position with bishop and 2 pawns for exchange. That really, it was really bad, and then it was a lousy game with Mamediyarov. And actually, I was very, very happy to play the game with Wesley. I think that's one of the most exciting games we played here, the whole tournament. And I did some really good moves, and I played, very energetically. And it, as computer tells, says that at one point I was better. It's very close to the end. So instead of lousy move knight e6, king e8, and Wesley may not have survived. So. And today also I had very good position with Jan, very good position, and it's also again it's a lack of practice. It's this what you want. Your bishop on d1, and you think on d1 it's not as good as on d3. So that's why you play bishop c2, which is a lousy move because what's happened. I let him basically to bring the knight from c8 and exchange my knight on g3. So then I just after the game he asked me why didn't I take on e4.
Apologize for a second. We have
time control of 10 plus 2 second increment. We will play the same position in both games. Once we finish this game, we'll have a rest for a couple of minutes, and then we'll start game 2 immediately. If we're still tied at the end of the match, we will go to an Armageddon game, which will be a different position. We'll have a drawing of lots immediately, and then you'll both get 5 minutes to go over the position before we start the Armageddon game. It's now time to begin. Good luck, gentlemen. Please go ahead and start White's clock.
Garry, I have to ask you one question. You played against Alireza, from one world champion to maybe a potential other. Does he have what it takes to get there?
Well, he definitely, looks very strong. So for his age, and I will not be surprised that if he makes it. I mean, it's by every count, including age. So he's just he might be the real contender for the title. Naturally, his outstanding performance here in this tournament. Actually, in these tournaments, it's just another proof that he's really good. There's a lot to do to work on. Actually, speaking it, I would never play knight f3, closing your bishop on g1. Yeah, that's still plenty of work to do. No, that's that's definitely not. I wouldn't recommend. Maybe that's the modern way of playing, but still, I prefer my bishop to be. So okay, I just I cherish some memories of this tournament. Again, I wish there's some good moves I made all over the board during 9 games could be made in 1 or 2 games, and the blunders that we moved to 1 or 2 games. But again, it's just it happens. Yes, I have to say that it's not recommendable just doing what I did. So I needed to take it a bit more seriously, though it was probably impossible these days. But you know, if I do it again, so I may change my attitude and just do a little bit more of studies. Yes. Yeah. Actually, I'm just now, as we speak, I'm looking at this game. Yeah.
It's an interesting one, I guess.
Yeah, because after d4, I think Alireza won't play d4, but after a5, it might be, yeah, Caruana will remind him that the king is the king.
And I was thinking that maybe Alireza wants to go h4 and bishop h2.
No.
Now the pawn on e5.
I think Alireza won't play d4. That's what's planned. But now you saw it. Oh, he played d4.
He
Yes.
played d4.
He played d4. Yes.
No, that's the analysis.
Yes. And then a5. But after d4, a5. I think he saw it now, and that's why he's thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe. Yeah, he should. Yes. Still, I hate bishop on g1. This is certain things, you know. Yes, I would not even consider playing knight f3 with bishop on g1. Yeah, it's a little bit more, you know, emphasis on tactics, instant tactics, you know. But there's certain. Yeah. Actually, speaking about before, you know, with my game with Alireza when I just was in symmetry. So instead of playing some lousy moves like knight d2, in the opening, I could have played before. Just, you know, why didn't I play before?
We saw you discuss with Alireza, and it felt like you almost are giving him some advice for the future. What were you telling him?
Oh, look, you know, again, I think I'm not giving advice. I'm just, you know, it's always nice to talk to talented young player. Actually, he made a good move, c4.
Make some space for the king.
Yeah, he makes space for the king, and it's just he's playing for black's king. Yes, a5.
b5 probably.
Yes. Yeah.
Bishop check.
A5, yeah. Look, I think what Caruana will do I think after king c2 he plays c5.
So you give the check on a3 or not?
No, you don't.
No, you don't give the check.
No, I think he plays c5. I mean, just you have to stop d4. Yeah, and I think c5 is a natural best because after c5 the whole construction is very odd, white construction. So I will say this is because if he plays d4, then just, you know, his plan is justified. After c5.
So not bishop c5, c5.
No. Oh, sorry. You can play bishop, of course. No, bishop c5.
Bishop c5, d4.
d4, yes. Yeah, but then you just then you take and b6, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe b6 instantly starts. Maybe no, b6 now. B6. He can start with probably b6, attacking e4 pawn, threatening bishop a3 check and queen takes e4. He played bishop c5.
Bishop c5.
That's also good. d4 take, maybe knight d6. Then f3. I just don't like, you know, because now white bishop somehow will be.
d4 is on the board.
Of course, yeah, of course on the board, yes.
So we're most likely going to see take. And you feel Fabiano is having good position right now? After potentially, the bishop on g1 is going to open up after f3.
Yeah.
It's going to defend the pawn on e4 at the same time. But you are losing some material by force. Can I take on c4?
Yeah, then queen c3. That's then
you might be in trouble.
I think Fabi had to do something else because he just let. Yeah, I thought c5. You know, after c5. Yeah, I probably had to start with b6, attacking the pawn on d4, and then playing maybe just bishops. Just he could have because then Alireza had to defend the pawn on e4, not
with d3 maybe.
No, but not with f3. Now we can play f3.
Yeah. Still a good position for Fabiano and some pressure on his clock as well.
Knight d6 is played knight d6.
Knight d6 is on the board.
f3 now, yes.
Can he go knight e5 after f3 maybe? Try to take without knight.
That's and what about knight f5?
Yeah,
then bishop a3 check. That's important. It's a check. So you should start with probably queen c3, and after you take on c4, I play knight f5, and then take your bishop.
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out the answer because f3 is on the board.
f3 on the board.
Let's see.
Because bishop c4, yeah, bishop c4 take queen c3.
He's definitely calculating
Yeah.
taking the pawn immediately. Knight to e5 is also.
Knight e5 was probably knight e5, queen c3, maybe b6. Just, you know, not to prepare because just your king is just, you know, just potential. Yes, could be mated. So that's why you want You want to do something just, because now knight a5, knight c6, bishop a3 check, you have check. So that doesn't work. So that's why you...
Yasser, Anastasia, any questions for Garry?
I think Fabi has got an advantage right out of this position, and
Yeah, knight
I'm
f5,
with
c6, yes.
Garry all the way. I thought that knight f3 was terrible. Maybe there was even a better way of punishing it. Even so, white is shedding a pawn, and I like the position. Garry, Shakhriyar said sometimes it's very easy to lose with white because you expect to have an advantage. You come and you make a move like e4 or d4 in the opening, and then you can't justify that you put your pawn too far up the board with e4, d4. Did you feel that you had an advantage as white in your games?
Look, it's a very good question, because I think after so many tournaments of 9-6 played here in St. Louis, maybe someone has to do a little analysis, like forensic analysis, because the position is very uneven. Some positions, are really challenging. So for black, for instance, today in round 1 and 2, I think we had positions that are really good for white. So c4 in game 1, and I had big advantage with Nepo, c4 and b4, and the same actually in the second round, f4, g4. So that's what Lemingis did, and it's black is just black is under heavy pressure. So I think it's this maybe we need we need to probably limit number of positions, checking with the computer and basically leaving positions that are balanced. But I agree with Shach that it's so easy for white to go wrong, because sometimes moves like e4 or d4, they may actually lead to disadvantage because of the awkward position of the pieces. So and that's why it's very often moves like g4 and b4 are the best. So it's the beauty of this game is that from move 1 you have to think, and sometimes you have positions that have weaknesses. This, like yesterday with Shach, I got so confused with first move because pawn on g7 is hanging, and then
That's knight g3. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's actually it's not a big deal, because I simply could do the symmetry, because the attack was black could have sacrificed the pawn, and instead I made actually after e6 d4 black is lost, so I lost in the game in 3 moves. So Fabi made a castle. That's
Tucking the king away.
It's interesting, but it's just it's still pretty nasty.
Garry, what were you looking at in these positions when analyzing first with your team partners? Were you looking at space advantage? Were you looking at development? What was the biggest factor of assessment that you were basing your decisions on?
I think in this game now, space advantage is very important. And that's why you see so many moves, the flank moves, a4, b4, g4, h4. So because this is not what happens in classical chess. It's sometimes again you may have the strong counterplay in the center, but it's very unbalanced. So it's first few moves are so important. So it's because typically now we play at 15, 20 moves. Now from move 1 you have to be very, very, very precise. Again, today, I got big advantage with white by playing c4 and b4, and the same happened when I played against Dominguez. He played f4, g4, and maybe I could do better. Actually, at one point, I kicked myself in the head that after he played h4, I could have played knight d4, taking at least one of his bishops and creating a little bit of counterplay. But I was so unhappy with him just simply moving, and I just had to stay, with my queen on g8, just waiting for the inevitable.
Gary, what's next for you? Any other tournaments or?
I just look. I know my limitations, and I have so many things to do now. It's my next is I go to Europe now. Actually, tomorrow fly to New York, and in the morning, early morning, at night, I go to Europe. So I have several cities to visit. I do lectures and also meet some politicians, because this is a decisive moment for our civilization. And while I was unhappy with what's happened here, I was very happy to see that Ukraine is winning, and that's what matters for the humanity, not how many points I make in the tournament.
Gary, thank you very much for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you in the next year Grand Chess.
I'm happy to see.
Oh, that would be great.
Let's because I'm also curious. So what's time control?
Right now it's 3 minutes for Ali Reza and almost 6 minutes for Fabiano. So
Yeah, but
almost
Ali
double his time.
Ali Reza doesn't like his king on c1.
No.
That happens, when you play b4 with king on c1, yeah.
He would love to castle short, right? But there's 3 moves to go until you can do that. Maybe even more than that.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's the. But the problem is, c4 pawn is just is in big trouble.
Okay, what he
Knight
played?
what?
King b2.
King b2.
He's trying to hide away a1.
a1. At least he goes on a1 with the king.
So
No, now pawn is a pawn.
how to increase the pressure? Knight to e5.
Gary sounds like a natural
Also
member of
interesting
the
moves.
pawn grubber.
c6.
Oh, c6, open things up, yeah. Knight to e5 was played.
95. No, we all play in 5 years. There is a.
Now, you know the mission statement of the pawn grubbers, Gary, is a pawn is a pawn.
Pawn is a pawn, yes. But, it's this, yeah, I know. But how do you take the pawn? Yes.
Maybe slowly. Slowly. No, we don't rush. We don't rush. We want to make sure that we don't fall some devilish trick.
Well, there's some knight f5s coming at some point. You have to be careful.
But that's what I'm thinking. Queen a7 is one of those moves that really help.
No, he played bishop b4?
Bishop b4.
Bishop b4 first.
Yeah, and then knight takes c4, yes.
Knight e5. What did he? King a1.
King a1,
Sorry.
yes.
King a1. Bishop b4.
Queen to c2 most likely.
Knight takes c4.
Yeah.
And go on c1, I think, yes.
He went all the way to c1.
Yes.
Knight e takes c4. Bishop takes c4.
At least you develop the pieces.
Yeah. Take them out, at least. Knight takes c4.
Knight f5.
Knight f5.
And it has a go. Yeah, still as the. Yeah. Bishop goes on d4 now. Rook. All of a sudden, queen on a8. That's why I was very cautious in evaluating. King on a8 is king on a8. So you can just white is playing with extra queen.
Yep.
And it's a very serious advantage.
Well, bishop
Yeah, so do you agree that queen is a queen?
Yes.
Yeah, pawn is a pawn, but queen is a queen.
Yeah, the queen is not participating. Yeah.
No, queen is not part of the, yeah, that's why I think Fabi had to do better. I mean, this is the, actually, Alireza found a great idea. Bring king on a1, escaped.
Yeah.
And Fabi right now actually falling down to his last 4 minutes as well. Definitely feeling the pressure.
Rook takes d7. You'd like to maintain this for as long as you can, no? This
d5. Okay, all right.
It's probably correct move, I think.
Provocative move. C takes.
Trying to simplify things. I think that pawn was taking off. No, never
Bishop
mind.
before.
Bishop
Whoa, 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 whoa.
He goes in the attack. He goes for kill. Knight takes g7. Bishop takes f6. Ooh.
Queen g5.
Take on e4, bishop takes f6 maybe. That's
Bishop f6.
That's an
Bishop f6,
alternative.
I'm not sure. Gf6, because bishop
Queen
c3 check.
h6. That's okay.
Rook b2, yes.
rook b2, yeah.
Yeah, with extra queen, you can do many nice things.
Many nice things.
Yeah, when you have an extra queen,
I'm very strong.
Very strong. No, I'm feeling the heat. Bishop f6, queen h6, knight g7, as you say, Gary. Bishop f6.
Maybe take on e4. You take on f6, and now I go bishop g6. But no, the knight on c4 is sagging. That's why he went bishop g6 first.
Just to stop these ideas of knight g7 and bishop f6.
Knight g3 now, I think.
Knight g3.
I know he'll keep. No, I know. Okay, I know the kid.
What will he do, Gary?
He's adding
Knight G3?
pressure. He's
Knight
adding
G3?
pressure. He's
Yeah.
adding pressure.
Yeah.
Knight g3. Okay.
Now, I don't know. Maybe c5. Yes, knight.
Something to be said for c5?
Knight e7 check then. Yeah, but. king
Okay,
e6,
it's not
yeah.
the end of the world.
No. And then, this is. Yes, well, c5 is very natural. Because that now you start putting your piece in the play.
Exactly.
That's the big problem.
Rook
Rook d4. Rook
E-
to e8.
8.
You play rook 8.
Yes.
Yes.
He wants to bring the queen.
Queen d8 is going to be a great defender. So Alireza has to do something fast.
And the times, Anastasia?
H4.
It's really,
But it's still a little bit too.
Tickling?
yes.
H4.
140, 1.5 minutes for Alireza. And
Yeah.
3
He
minutes
has to
for
go
Alde-
C5.
Alde.
c5.
He has to
still.
go C5. Yeah, okay, but because it's not just open the position, C5. Because okay, H5, the king is protected, so the C5 is important. C5, BC6, BC6, and then just then another C5 if necessary. So also C5 secures the knight on C4. BC6, BC6, knight is secure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry anymore about the knight, and then you can start doing other things.
He made a move.
If he plays,
Queen c8. That seems a bit passive.
yeah, that's the. It's still
He's trying
maybe
to get
not.
the queen to e6.
Yeah, but that's that's the. I would have played C5 without even thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the.
So now at least white cannot take on d5 anymore because knight is hanging.
Fabi is being very practical
but
with
he
his
was,
clock.
He is,
Yes.
yes, he's
H5,
still
H5, bishop F5, knight F5,
queen e6.
queen E6. Because otherwise, knight takes G7 might be a threat.
Yes.
H6 then, yes, that's H6. That's not. Yeah, you see this.
It's going to be some sort of a race, yeah. Who gets first to the opponent?
Knight takes G7.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
What just happened?
What just happened, Gary?
No, king G7, H5. He wants to play.
Okay.
That's
And
why I
then-
said, black couldn't waste time. So he wasted time. King
Yeah.
G7, H5.
Is that enough though? H5. You cannot go bishop f7 because of queen g5 check.
No,
That might be a problem. So
that's
what
why
do
he
you
just
do?
wasted time. And now he wants to take on G6 and then knight H5 check. And that's the.
Rook h1, knight h5. Things are
Yes.
getting murky. Yeah, yeah.
It's not murky. I think it's just,
You think he's taking over? Yeah.
yeah, bishop D6 take on rook H1. Yes. Oof.
So bishop d6.
He played bishop
take-
D6.
No.
H6 and rook H1.
Oh my goodness.
Definitely.
H5. Still probably not saving there. Rook H5.
Took on G7.
G7.
Yes.
Rook H8. Queen G5.
I feel all three results
Rook
possible
H7.
here.
I think winning.
He
I
needs a
think
good
White, I
move
think
right
White is
now.
winning now.
You think White is winning?
Fabiano needs a good move.
Yeah, that's
Defend
why
off
he
the
plays
attack.
C5, play active moves.
Well, one thing, Rook H1 will allow Bishop D2, so we have a tempo to do something.
Ah,
Okay.
We have a tempo to do something. I am not sure what I'm supposed to do, though. Am I supposed to play, I don't know, Queen E6? Like,
the Queen E6 on take, you lose the piece. H6 and ED5. No, H6 first and then ED5, yes.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you lose
yeah.
the piece.
got
Cannot
it.
take back because of bishop takes f6. That's a problem.
Again, I suggest C5.
Yeah. C5 still.
No, C5.
Still C5.
Then he can do take and knight H5 check, yes.
Knight
And he's
E5.
played Knight to E5.
Closing up that diagonal. That seems like
And
a
very
good practical
quickly
move.
came
Yeah,
an
but that's
answer.
the-
I'm not sure what it was.
No.
There it comes.
Take on G6.
Take on g6, take on g6. We're expecting
F4.
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 That's
Well,
not-
Reza really wants to open up that diagonal.
C5. Again, C5.
This is the last chance.
C5. Play C5. Bobby, play C5.
No,
Play C5.
he will never play C5. It's, oh my God.
The other played C5, yes. C5 was good. B6, knight C6. And black was fine.
Finally, he listened to you. C5.
But a little late,
Not sure that's that's a good moment.
right?
'Cause
The,
now-
the moment was missed.
He's trying to
C5.
exchange the queens, tame the position.
No,
Takes
that's not good.
This is
Something tells me it's not good.
not, no.
Do you take back?
Bishop on
Capture.
D4 now is just as a killer.
King
Yeah.
F7.
So,
King has a very, very
Seven.
strong indication. It's all
A3,
gone
A3,
south.
A3.
A3
but
might
look
be a
at time,
problem.
29 seconds
A3.
against 19.
Rook takes
Queen
B7.
B2. Knight E3. Rook C1.
Ooh. And what's the clock time? Sorry, Anastasia?
It's,
23 seconds against 15 seconds,
It's
guys.
20 against
for Fabiano.
15.
And just to remind everybody, this is the first of 2 games.
bishop,
They're
bishop,
switching
yeah,
colors for game 2
Bishop on b5
in these playoffs.
is a killer.
Rook h8, trying to cover up the h5.
Oh my gosh,
h5
clock
square.
time's 11 seconds.
Against
Against-
14, 13.
Okay, it's completely winning for white, but
What is this?
Rook h1.
rook h1, knight
a3.
a3.
Whoa!
Whoa, where did
He's
that
trying
come
to-
from?
To do some mates as well.
Goes back.
Queen to f3.
Maybe it's a draw.
Wow.
Alireza is still trying to win this. Rook h4. Done with 3 seconds on the clock.
Whoa, what was that?
Knight f1.
Come on,
Queen
move.
comes to
3
d7.
seconds.
My board can't
Wow.
even keep up
No,
with the
no, no,
players.
no.
They're playing so quickly.
By the way, there's only 2 seconds increment, not 5.
Ah, yes, maybe they forgot about it.
No, they didn't. No. 4
2
seconds.
seconds.
Yes.
a3.
Knight a3 is
He
coming.
did it. Knight c2 on
Knight C2.
tap.
Wow.
And he's done it.
Oh, that's gonna
Knight
be a
takes
mate.
D.
That's gonna be a mate.
Oh,
That's gonna be a mate.
Unbelievable.
What a show, yes? What a
Wow.
show.
Wow.
I mean,
My boy.
Well, the way that we had you here, Gary, you
what a
enjoyed
show.
that one.
What a show.
Wow. Anastasia.
Okay, one more, yeah?
Thank you very much, Gary. Yes.
Okay, fine.
What?
So I think Fabio won all the games today, yes?
He did
Actually, yes, he did.
4 out of 4 so far.
Wow.
Four games, yes.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy. You're.
Oh, it's still not over.
It's still not very
But
good.
we're-
Very